Folks, let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. Right now, as you're watching this video, there's a silent killer moving across at least 10 states in America. It's not what you think. It's not some disease or natural disaster you see on the news. It's something far more insidious. Something that can destroy your home, kill your plants, and cost you thousands of dollars in damage before you even wake up tomorrow morning. I'm talking about temperatures plunging below 20 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. And if you think that doesn't sound like a big deal, you're about to discover why that single number, 20 degrees, is what weather experts call the temperature alert threshold. Below this point, everything changes. Your pipes become ticking time bombs. Your plants face certain death. Your pets are in real danger. And your wallet is about to take a massive hit if you don't act fast. My name is Jake, and I've been tracking severe weather patterns for over 8 years. I've seen what happens when people ignore freeze warnings. I've witnessed families lose their homes to burst pipes. I've watched farmers lose entire crops overnight. And I've helped thousands of people protect themselves from these devastating temperature drops. What I'm about to share with you in this video could literally save your house, your garden, and potentially thousands of dollars in repair bills. But here's what makes this particular freeze warning absolutely terrifying. We're not just talking about your typical frost advisory, where temperatures hover around 32 degrees. We're talking about a hard freeze event, where temperatures will crash below 20 degrees for extended periods. Some areas are looking at temperatures as low as 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit, lasting up to 60 hours straight. That's not just cold, that's catastrophic. Before we dive into exactly what you need to do right now to protect yourself, I need you to understand something crucial. The information I'm about to give you isn't theory. This is based on real data from the National Weather Service, actual insurance claims totaling over $432 million last year alone, and field-tested strategies that have saved countless homeowners from disaster. And listen, if this video helps you protect your property tonight, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. Your support motivates us to keep making these emergency weather videos that can literally save your home. We're a small channel fighting to get life-saving information out there, and every subscription helps us reach more people who desperately need this information. Now, let's get into the science of what makes 20 degrees so dangerous. When temperatures drop to exactly 20 degrees Fahrenheit, exposed pipes can freeze solid in just a few hours. But here's the part most people don't understand. It's not just the freezing that destroys your home. When water freezes, it expands with incredible force. We're talking about pressure that can burst even the strongest pipes like they're made of paper. State Farm alone received over 17,000 claims related to frozen pipes last year, with the average claim costing homeowners over $23,000. Think about that for a second. One night of cold weather can cost you more than most people's annual salary. And that's just the pipe damage. We haven't even talked about what happens to your foundation, your electrical systems, or your personal belongings when thousands of gallons of water start flooding your home. But pipes aren't the only thing at risk when temperatures plunge below 20 degrees. Your plants are facing what experts call a severe freeze. This isn't like a light frost that nips the edges of sensitive flowers. When temperatures drop below 28 degrees, most commercial crops die completely. Below 25 degrees, even the hardiest plants start suffering permanent damage. And if you've invested money in landscaping, fruit trees, or a vegetable garden, you're looking at potentially thousands of dollars in lost plants and produce. Here's something that will shock you. The timing of this freeze is particularly devastating because many regions aren't seeing this level of cold until late October or November. Plants that normally have weeks to prepare for winter are getting hit with Arctic conditions while they're still actively growing. It's like getting punched in the face when you're not even in a fight. And if you have pets or livestock, this temperature drop becomes a life or death situation. Dogs and cats can develop hypothermia and frostbite in minutes when exposed to temperatures below 20 degrees. Livestock need immediate shelter and additional food because their bodies burn through calories trying to stay warm. I've seen too many animals suffer because their owners didn't understand how quickly these temperatures can turn deadly. Now, you might be thinking this only affects certain parts of the country. Wrong. This freeze warning is hitting states from Texas to Pennsylvania. We're talking about Colorado seeing temperatures as low as 19 degrees, parts of Georgia and North Florida dropping into the mid-20s. Even areas that rarely see hard freezes are getting slammed with temperatures that can cause serious damage. The National Weather Service has updated their protocols specifically because these extreme cold events are becoming more frequent and more dangerous. They now issue cold weather advisories when temperatures drop below 20 degrees, and extreme cold warnings when we're looking at temperatures below 10 degrees. This isn't just bureaucratic paperwork. These are emergency classifications designed to save lives and property. But here's what really keeps me up at night. Most people have no idea how to properly protect themselves from this level of cold. They think throwing a sheet over their plants or letting a faucet drip slightly is enough protection. That might work for a light frost, but when we're talking about temperatures in the teens lasting for days, those basic measures become completely useless. The reality is that protecting your property from sub-20 degree temperatures requires a completely different approach. We're not talking about simple preventive measures anymore. We're talking about emergency protocols that can mean the difference between minor inconvenience and complete disaster. I've spent the last 72 hours researching the most effective strategies used by professionals who deal with extreme cold events. I've consulted with master plumbers, agricultural experts, and emergency management specialists. What I've discovered is a systematic approach that can protect your home, your plants, and your family, even when temperatures plummet into the danger zone. The strategies I'm about to share aren't just theoretical advice you might find in some generic home improvement article. These are battle-tested techniques used by people who live in regions where sub-zero temperatures are a regular occurrence. These are the methods that actually work when everything else fails. And here's the thing that makes this information so valuable. Most of these protection strategies cost almost nothing to implement, but they can save you tens of thousands of dollars in damage. We're talking about using materials you probably already have around your house to create protection systems that rival expensive commercial solutions. But timing is absolutely critical. Once temperatures start dropping, your window for effective protection closes rapidly. Some of these strategies need to be implemented hours before the cold arrives to be effective. Others need to be done in a specific sequence, or they won't work at all. The next section of this video is going to walk you through exactly what you need to do, step by step, to bulletproof your property against this freeze. I'm going to show you the professional-grade pipe protection techniques that can prevent frozen pipes even when temperatures hit single digits. I'll reveal the advanced plant protection strategies that can keep your garden alive through extended hard freezes. We're going to cover the emergency livestock and pet safety protocols that can literally save your animals' lives when the mercury drops into the danger zone. And I'm going to reveal the insider secrets that insurance companies don't want you to know about protecting yourself financially when disaster strikes. But before we get into those life-saving techniques, I need to address something that's been weighing heavily on my mind. The response to our last freeze warning video was absolutely incredible. Thousands of you reached out to tell us how our emergency protocols saved your homes, your gardens, and in some cases, your pets' lives. That kind of feedback is exactly why we keep pushing ourselves to create these critical weather alerts. However, we're facing a serious challenge. YouTube's algorithm doesn't prioritize emergency weather content the way it should. Videos about dance trends and celebrity gossip get millions of views, while potentially life-saving information like this struggles to reach the people who desperately need it. That's where you come in. If this video helps you tonight, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your subscription literally helps us save more homes and more lives by pushing our content to people who need it most. Now, let's talk about the advanced pipe protection system that professional plumbers use in Arctic conditions. Most homeowners think pipe insulation from the hardware store is enough protection. That foam tube insulation might help in mild cold, but when temperatures hit the teens, you need industrial-grade protection strategies. Here's what the professionals do that nobody talks about. They create thermal barriers using multiple layers of different insulating materials. Start with your standard pipe insulation, but then wrap that with reflective radiant barrier material. This creates an air gap that traps warm air around your pipes. Then add a final outer layer of heavy-duty plastic or tarp material to block wind penetration. But here's the secret weapon that most people never consider. Heat tape designed for Arctic conditions can be the difference between intact pipes and a flooded basement. Not the cheap stuff you find at discount stores. Professional-grade, self-regulating heat tape that automatically adjusts its output based on pipe temperature. Yes, it costs more up front, but compare that to a $23,000 insurance claim for burst pipe damage. The placement strategy is equally critical. Most people only protect exposed pipes, but professionals know that pipes inside exterior walls are just as vulnerable when temperatures drop below 20 degrees for extended periods. Those pipes might take 6 hours or more to freeze, but freeze they will if you don't take action. Here's something that will change everything about how you think about pipe protection. The dripping faucet technique that everyone recommends is actually dangerous in extreme cold. When temperatures hit the teens, that small drip can freeze solid, creating an ice plug that blocks pressure relief. Instead of a small drip, you need a pencil-thin stream of water flowing continuously. It uses more water, but it prevents the catastrophic pressure buildup that explodes pipes. And here's a strategy that insurance adjusters hate because it works so well. If you're dealing with a multi-day freeze event, maintain indoor temperatures at least 65 degrees, not the 55 degrees most guides recommend. Yes, your heating bill will spike for a few days, but that temporary cost prevents permanent damage that could cost you your entire house. Now let's move into plant protection strategies that go far beyond throwing a bedsheet over your tomatoes. When temperatures are forecast to stay in the teens for days, traditional frost protection becomes completely inadequate. You need to think like a commercial greenhouse operator dealing with equipment failure. The key is understanding thermal mass and heat retention. Professional growers use water-filled containers painted black to absorb heat during the day and release it slowly at night. But here's the advanced technique they don't teach in gardening magazines. Position these thermal masses on the north side of your plants, not the south side like most people think. The north placement blocks cold wind while radiating stored heat toward your plants all night long. For high-value plants like fruit trees or expensive landscaping, create microclimates using temporary windbreaks combined with ground-level heat sources. String outdoor Christmas lights through the branches, but use the old-fashioned incandescent bulbs that generate actual heat. LED lights won't help your plants survive extreme cold. Here's a technique borrowed from commercial orchards dealing with killing frosts. Mist irrigation systems that spray water continuously during freezing temperatures actually protect plants through the heat of crystallization. As water turns to ice on plant surfaces, it releases thermal energy that keeps plant tissues from freezing solid. It sounds counterintuitive, but it works even in sub-20 degree conditions. But timing is everything with these advanced techniques. The thermal mass containers need to be in position at least 24 hours before temperatures drop to absorb maximum heat. The windbreaks need to be secured against high winds that often accompany extreme cold fronts. And the irrigation protection only works if you start the water flow before ice begins forming on plant surfaces. For pet and livestock safety, we're moving into life or death territory that most pet owners aren't prepared for. When temperatures drop below 20 degrees, your animals face hypothermia risks that can kill them in minutes, not hours. Standard dog houses become death traps because they don't provide adequate insulation against extreme cold. Here's what veterinarians recommend for emergency cold protection that most pet owners never hear. Elevate animal shelters at least 4 inches off the ground to prevent ground cold from penetrating upward. Use deep bedding made from straw, not blankets or towels that can freeze solid. Straw traps warm air in its hollow stems, creating natural insulation that stays effective even when wet. For outdoor animals that can't be brought inside, increase their caloric intake by 50% during extreme cold events. Their bodies burn through calories at an accelerated rate, trying to maintain core temperature. High-fat foods like peanut butter or bacon grease mixed into their regular food provides the energy density they need to survive. And here's a warning that could save your pet's life. Check car engines before starting your vehicle during extreme cold. Cats seeking warmth will crawl into engine compartments and can be seriously injured or killed when you start the car. Bang on your hood and honk your horn before turning the key. The financial protection strategies are equally critical because insurance companies have specific requirements for coverage during extreme weather events. Document everything with photos before the freeze hits. Insurance adjusters need proof that you took reasonable precautions to prevent damage. Failure to show adequate preparation can void your coverage entirely. Keep detailed records of all protection measures you implement. Receipts for materials, timestamps for when you drained outdoor faucets, photos showing proper pipe insulation. This documentation becomes crucial if you need to file claims after the freeze passes. But here's the insider information that insurance companies hope you never discover. Most standard homeowner policies have specific exclusions for freeze damage that wasn't properly prevented. The definition of proper prevention varies by company, but generally includes maintaining adequate indoor heating, protecting exposed pipes, and shutting off water to outdoor fixtures. Now, as we head into the most critical hours of this freeze warning, remember that your actions in the next few hours will determine whether you wake up to minor inconvenience or major catastrophe. The temperature alert threshold of 20 degrees isn't just a number. It's the line between manageable cold and property-destroying extreme weather. We're going to dive deep into the emergency protocols you need to implement right now, tonight, before temperatures begin their deadly plunge. These aren't suggestions or recommendations. These are mandatory actions that separate the prepared from the devastated, ated. Listen, we've covered a lot of ground in this video, and I need you to understand something absolutely critical. Every single strategy I've shared with you tonight has been tested in real-world conditions by people who couldn't afford to get it wrong. These aren't theoretical solutions pulled from some dusty manual. These are the techniques that have saved thousands of homes, protected countless gardens, and kept families from facing financial ruin when the mercury plunged into the danger zone. But here's the reality. This freeze warning isn't a drill. Tonight, temperatures are going to drop below that 20-degree threshold, and your window for action is closing fast. You now have the knowledge to protect your property like a professional, but knowledge without action is worthless. Don't be the person who watches this video, thinks it's interesting information, and then does nothing while disaster strikes. Take action immediately. Protect those pipes. Secure your plants. Safeguard your animals. Document everything for insurance purposes. The next 12 hours will determine whether you wake up tomorrow to a minor inconvenience or a major catastrophe that could cost you everything. If this video helped you prepare for tonight's freeze, please hit that subscribe button right now. Your subscription doesn't just help our channel grow, it helps us reach more people who desperately need this life-saving information before the next emergency strikes. We're fighting to get critical weather alerts to the people who need them most, and every single subscription makes that mission possible. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next weather emergency alert.